the driving force, Toastmaster Richika.
Hi, am I audible? Am I visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Knowledge is the driving force that puts creative passion to work. Self-motivation drives success. Fear is not the best driving force, passion is. Hold on, Toastmasters. Today, this zestful evening, I don't want to bore you by talking about the driving forces of knowledge, fear, passion, self-motivation. Instead, today, my speech is going to be about my driving force, the force that drives me, my chauffeur or driver. My first driver, Purnu. I remember Purnu from the time I remember anything at all. He was always in and around the house. Whenever some device used to not work at home, not necessarily the car, Purnu would be summoned and he would mend whatever electrical or mechanical device it was. Purnu was the one who was responsible for ferrying us 5 children of the household to and from school. And our school was very far from the house in the village. So it meant that we ended up spending a lot of time in his company. And since he was a chatterbox, it meant that we interacted with him quite a lot as well. Purnu used to tell us stories about the village and how a chance encounter with the goons had left his hand permanently deformed. Every day after school, as I used to board the car, Purnu would shove some eatable or the other into my hands. Usually in the winter, it was berries or bogri as we call them in Assamese. God knows from which tree did he get those berries. I have never tasted anything at par with those. He used to quietly put them into my hands, closing my fingers over them, making me feel like I was his favorite. However, I had done nothing special to earn his extra favor, so I believe that everyone in the car believed the same, that they were his favorite. Do you remember the secret cough between Prem and Nisha in the movie Hum Aapke Hai Kaun? Well, the movie was released in 1994, but Purnu had been coughing like that since the 1980s. This cough was used by Purnu to signal his arrival. Whenever we were at a friend's house or tuitions, he never used to come and ring the doorbell. He used to just stand by the door and do and we would know that Purnu and our car is there waiting to take us back home. His cough became so famous that all my friends and relatives also started recognizing it. And they used to call out to us, "Hey, your driver is here." Purnu was a driving instructor, not only to me, but 14 of my cousins. However, growing up with Purnu around had its own share of side effects. Whenever the car used to make a noise, Purnu used to say that there is something wrong with the socket jabber. I grew up thinking that there is a component in every car called socket jabber, only to realize later in life that this socket jabber is actually a shock absorber. When I got married, I had to leave the comfort of the back seat of Purnu's car to land into the car of another gentleman called Kulen Thakuria. If there is anyone in this whole world who needs Toastmasters the most, it is Kulen. Just like Purnu was famous for his Kulen is famous for his communication skills or the total lack of it. One day, I sat in the car. I was lost in my thoughts and I forgot to mention to him where he needed to drive me to. I kept thinking and he kept driving until I realized that I was in the outskirts of the city. I asked, "Where are you taking me?" He said, "You never mentioned," so I kept driving. Thankfully, I was aroused from my reverie, else that day he would have kept driving until the car would run out of fuel in the middle of nowhere. But Kulen is definitely a better driving instructor than Purnu. Just imagine imagine that you were taking a driving lesson with Kulin by your side and you were to bang on a light post or even hit a man. Kulin would do nothing. He would just keep sitting. 5 minutes into the driving class and you would realize that you are basically on your own. Hence, be more careful and learn to drive faster. But Kulin's knowledge about the narrowest lanes of Guwahati is unparalleled. After being my driver for 10 years, the Ola Uber bug hit him and he left me to drive his own vehicle. However, he's just a call away and often comes. Then came Sanjeev, a typical Gen Z. He's all of 24 and changes phones just like the timer changes the cards. He's more often found in his village in Bihar than in my car, hence not too many stories about him. Often in our life, we get so engrossed in pursuing our driving forces of motivation, knowledge, and passion that we forget that our life has been shaped and affected by so many people around us. I'm really thankful for the presence of these 3 gentlemen in my life, because of whom I often did not have to worry about finding the perfect parking spot or navigating on the GPS. I hope that my Sanjeev continues to stay with me for many more years, just like Purnu and Kulin. And in my 5th path of pathways, I will definitely dedicate a speech to him. Till then, thank you.